through your tears. I mean, is that too heavy?
This is an opportunity for you, and I've said this a lot about him. I have known him since he was a kid, and before we have really created defense mechanisms built up, he's a really fine, very sensitive person underneath this exterior. And it's because he has this need, as most really good comedians do, to be loved. It sometimes turns into people misunderstand it. They think that because you want to be funny and because you want to be loved, and I understand it works for you as a comedian, but as a guy, I know who you really are. And I know how you really feel about yourself and some of the mistakes that you made, because you've told me. You have an opportunity to talk to him and this audience and the rest of
Good,
America.
I'll give you a minute.
Well, what he said.
There it is.
I must tell you, in all seriousness, when David first called me about the tour and stuff, he said something to me that at first I didn't get. He said, "Danny, you are so funny, but it's time for you to stop being the joke." And I thought, I haven't seen this guy in 10 years. He's calling me up, you know. And when I hung up the phone, I went, God, he's totally right. And I have to thank you for this. This has been a great opportunity. He gives me the opportunity to show up on time, be clear-eyed, do my gig, and get home. I mean, I have a curfew on this tour. He put me on he's worse than Ruben. But
Ruben Kincaid, for those of you who
he's
don't
given
know.
me this opportunity to show up, do my job, to show people that I'm all right, and I really appreciate that. Thank you. I must say, though, real quickly, that before I could show anybody that I was all right, I had to get all right.
Are you all right?
Yeah.
I mean, but you
Yeah,
lied
he's
to me
really
before.
all
I mean, I don't.
Well, I mean, lying to Geraldo is kind of like, sport.
I gotta. Enough with that lying. Boy, I have to smack you around.
No, I did. In all sincerity, I did. As a matter of fact, I'll even tell you the lie. It's horrendous and it haunts me. When no, it really does. It's not often that you get that busted. I was on the Geraldo show telling everybody that I was okay, and it showed a few weeks later, and I was watching it from jail. And they had on Geraldo. It's not funny, man. It was tragic. They had Geraldo's on, and there I am saying I'm fine and Jim Dandy, and up comes a special bulletin interrupting me saying I'm okay, saying I'm in jail. So, I mean, I take his...
And how are you now?
I'm as well as I can be. I mean, I'm not the one to ask since I've told you whatever you want to hear.
I want to get to one of our surprise drop-in guests right now. What was your relationship like with Marty Engels?
Marty Engels and I...
Marty Engels, of course,
is
married Shirley
to
Jones.
my
David
son. Marty
Stefan.
Engels was the recipient of my misplaced anger, I think, for many years. He and I have had, to say it was stormy, we didn't speak for a number of years. He thought I hated him.
Did you hate him?
No. No, I really and truly, I resented him because I really wanted the picture of my stepmother and my father, where I became a very close friend of my stepmother's, working with her, and my dad, she became my closest ally. My father, I had a very difficult relationship with my dad. He had a very difficult relationship with everyone. They were divorced. My mom and he were divorced. My brothers had a very difficult time with my father. He was brilliant.
When you talk about your father, you talk about your biological...
My father, Jack Cassidy. When my father died, I was really emotionally at a very, very, I would say, distant and lost place in my life. I had just left touring. I was in my room. My father died. I literally didn't leave my room for about 3 weeks. Around the time that my dad died, Marty Engels was courting my stepmother, and they had a relationship, and I really resented him for it. And I think I never really got to know him, and he would be the first one to tell you that he sometimes gets real defensive. And
let's ask him. Joining us on the telephone, Marty Engels and Shirley Jones. Hi, guys.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hi, honey. How are you?
I'm really hot and sweaty here, and I'm in between Geraldo and Danny Bonaducci. Can you imagine what my afternoon's like?
Marty,
how's your day going?
Well, better question. Marty, how do you respond to what David just said?
I think I love you. Yes, you're in the top percentile, though you're just that Gentile that hangs around my house. So come home early, or I'll turn you in to Shirley, and that won't be so good.
Well,
Could you do it now without the accompaniment, Marty?
Thank you, Marty.
I mean, does that hurt your feelings, the fact that you were resented by David and the
It's
other
a
boys?
gigantic understatement, and I suppose, looking at the glass half full, the very fact that him and I could, after maybe 14 years, sit in a room and spill it out and get together and undo all the terrible years of misunderstanding is a testimony that we can all do it, no matter how things are terrible in the family. You can turn it around, and that's a big plus.
Yeah.
Shirley, in your case, after Jack Cassidy passed away, did the boys drift away from you and back to their natural mom?
Well, you know that...
Oh, there's a division.
Well, I am.
Sean is
Sean is
Shirley.
my son, and
Right.
Patrick and Ryan are my
Oh,
son.
so all three of them. So David's the only one that's not. I
David is
thought
the
it was
fifth.
2 and 2.
I was certainly, and I've always felt in a funny way, certainly with my dad, because I lived with my mother, Evelyn Ward, and a lot of people, I mean, in my mother's life, you can only imagine, I was her only son, and I became connected with Shirley in the television show. So people naturally assumed that all of us were Shirley's kids.
Right.
My mom, on top of not being with her ex-husband, Jack, also was feeling like I'm sure she was losing her son as well. And so it was really difficult for my mom. And at that particular time, I think we did sort of drift apart. It became so difficult for me to see Shirley because I had such a problem with Marty. And it was so painful for me that, you know, when we're kids, we have this vision that the picture is perfect. Even I, in later years, saw that my mom and dad should never have been together. But when my dad and Shirley were divorced, I never wanted to give that up somehow.
Shirley, what do you say? About that difficult period after...
Well, yeah, it was difficult, and you know, as David explained, I think basically what happened, he felt very estranged from Marty, and, you know, just felt that, you know, he just sort of didn't want to face any of that situation. You know, he wanted his perfect picture, and it wasn't there. And, you know, my sons, his brothers, you know, they had their problems too. But, you know, this is called a family, Geraldo. And, you know, fortunately, you know, day by day, we seem to be able to work things out. I think, you know, love and trust and longevity alone has done that.
It's the glue, you know.
Yeah.
The thing that my brothers and I, who are my brothers Sean, Patrick, and Ryan and I, have really bonded since my dad's death, now about 15 years ago. But I see my brothers; they are probably my best friends in my life outside of my wife. And Shirley and Marty and I now, and including my mom, spend Christmases together. It's really wonderful. They've gone through all of that stuff.
David's
and that
mother is
bio
also a
and
very dear friend of mine. You know, she's a wonderful, wonderful lady.
Shirley Jones and Marty Engels, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah.
We've got to take a break. Give us a couple of minutes and come back. David Cassidy is back, and so is Danny Bonaduce. A family next to Geraldo.
Americans drive more than anyone in the world. What will happen to you if you have lost wages, pain and suffering, or even permanent injury? Understand your rights in the event of an auto accident. Turn to someone who will protect you and take care of your needs. Experience does make the difference.
Call the law offices of Dane M. Schulman with 2 locations in Boston and Mattapan. Call 266-7300 today.
If you wanted to install vinyl replacement windows in your home but felt you couldn't afford them, listen, you'll save a lot of money when you buy direct from the Portland Glass Window Factory. Portland Glass is the only window company in New England that takes vinyl replacement windows from factory to finish. We manufacture our own windows, and you...
And Bo.
Program. Call 1-800-333-SLIM.
David's been telling us about his unusual family situation. His dad, Jack Cassidy, divorced his...
Size for Nutrisize. Call your Nutrisystem. Whole new relationship with food. Nutricize your life. Nutricize now for 50% off Nutrisystem full-service program. Call 1-800-333-SLIM.
David's been telling us about his unusual family situation. His dad, Jack Cassidy, divorced his mom, Evelyn Ward, to marry Shirley Jones. But on the phone with us right now is Dave's mom. David Cassidy's mom, Evelyn Ward, joins us. Hi.
Hi. Hello, David.
He's about to perform. You want to tell him anything, Evelyn?
Oh, David, I hear all the wonderful, wonderful reviews, everything that's happening. It's so exciting, my dear.
Thanks, Mom.
And it's so exciting
I
for
miss you.
I miss you, too. Love you. Guess who's right here with me? Sue and Bo.
Oh.
Yes.
Put little Bo on the phone. Let me just say something to him.
Okay, hold on, sweetie. Hold on.
Okay.
Sue, of course, his wife.
Sue's my wife and my 7-month-old son, Bo. Have you got the receiver there?
Yeah, hold on. Here, come here, Bo. Come here, honey.
Dad is home.
Wait.
Oh,
Here he goes.
oh, Dad is home. Yeah.
Oh, you should see him laughing. Oh. Sweetie, how wonderful. Have you got your warm jacket with you? Are you keeping your throat warm?
Yeah, Mom. I'm taking good care of myself. I'm taking my vitamins.
Oh, good.
Okay,
Thanks,
Mom, now
Mom.
stand by. You can hear David and his new band sing a song.
Wonderful.
Okay.
God bless,
Okay.
sweetheart.
David Cassidy.
Bye.
To reach out for one another. We've been planning this a long, long time. Just trying to say hello. Oh, we can just let it ride. If I know that I like to get some noise. I'll meet you halfway. That's better than no way. There must be some way to get us together. And if there's some way, I know that someday we just might work it out forever.
If you've been injured in an auto accident, you may need a lawyer, one who'll fight hard to get you everything you're entitled to. I'm attorney Jim Sokoloff. My business is personal injury law, and I've been at it for 16 years. We've helped hundreds of victims.
The man who is the surrogate father for the Partridge Boys on the TV show, Reuben Kincaid, Dave Madden joins us. Hey, Dave.
How are you, Geraldo? Hello, Dan. What's his name, David?
David.
Yeah.
David and Dan, they're both here, Dave.
Even though I know the answer, how are you, Dave? I'd have to get better to die. That's my Dave.
You know, probably people in the audience don't know this, but Dave and I saw one another about, a little over a year ago. He helped promote, I did a video for Lion and Myself, which was a big hit for me last year. And Dave came in and made a special video appearance introducing the video for the guys at MTV.
Very cool.
And it was so cool. I really never got to see you after that, Dave, and it wasn't that I don't love you, of course. I just wanted to tell you you were fantastic, and I thank you a whole lot for that.
I have a question for Dave. Which of these guys gave you the most trouble, Dave? Was it Danny or David?
Well, Danny wasn't really a troublemaker. He was a lot like he is today.
Uh-oh.
Except that he didn't make as
Damning
many...
with faint praise? Is that what we call that?
He just didn't make as many mistakes back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you miss these guys?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'd like to have them around here all the time, but they're running around the country. What is Danny doing there with David anyway?
Quickly tell him.
He bailed me out.
Him too.
David and I are going on tour. I'm the opening act for the David Cassidy 91 tour. The opening act? Yeah. Doing what?
They'll fill you in. They'll pick up the phone after the show. We gotta go. Danny Bonaducci, David Cassidy, the 91 tour. The bottom line tonight in New York. He's back.
It's not only fun.